funny thing? The boxing people don't know more. The only thing they know is how much the guy runs and trains. But when they come in 2 men in the ring, anything can happen. I don't care what, anything can happen.
Urgency, or he's overrated. And I'm not saying he's that. I'm just saying that it didn't matter enough to go and do what he had to do.
Was actually countering Canelo Alvarez quite a bit. So as Canelo would throw, he would just sit there, wait, block, and then boom, an uppercut or a right hand. Another mistake that Canelo was making too is he was throwing like one shot and then he was coming back squared.
Boxing legend Mike Tyson didn't mince words after Canelo Alvarez's stunning defeat to Terence Crawford. Tyson argued that Alvarez has long been celebrated beyond his true abilities, and that this fight made it clear. In Tyson's view, once Canelo stepped in against Crawford, the image of dominance quickly unraveled. Crawford's sharp timing, tactical discipline, and ability to dictate every round highlighted a clear gap between the two fighters. Tyson noted that the loss didn't just mark a bad night for Canelo, it revealed cracks that had been overlooked for years. Meanwhile, Crawford's commanding performance cemented his reputation as one of boxing's greatest technicians, while Canelo's aura of invincibility took a major hit.
You gonna catch him? I'm just telling you, but when those guys started beating Chavez was already an old man, though. I gotta get from then, or you gotta get him there. You know, he had close on. It was, man, he got him beaten in like 90-0 before he got beat. Oh. You gotta look at those scenarios too, man.
Veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas has never been shy about challenging boxing's biggest names, and Canelo Alvarez is no exception. Atlas insists that Alvarez's superstar image was built more on clever promotion than on the hard truths of his career. He argues that media hype, fan enthusiasm, and the push from promoters combined to crown Canelo the face of boxing, without enough scrutiny of the path that got him there. Yes, Alvarez has collected marquee wins, but Atlas stresses that many of those victories came against opponents chosen at the right time, under the right conditions. That kind of matchmaking, he says, creates the illusion of an untouchable record. To Atlas, Canelo's reputation as an unstoppable force is less a reflection of ring dominance and more the result of branding, perception, and timing. In his eyes, the legend surrounding Alvarez is more manufactured story than undeniable fact.
Quite as up in arms. We actually sometimes said he fought a smart fight. But when he didn't fight the kind of fight to make it an entertaining fight against our guy, against the popular Canelo, again, the king, so to speak, then we completely attacked the guy. So I think that that's got to be looked at a little bit, to be fair.
Before the first punch was even thrown, Mike Tyson made his stance clear. He believed Terence "Bud" Crawford would outclass Canelo Alvarez. Tyson spoke with certainty, describing Crawford as a fighter whose skill set could trouble anyone in the sport. For him, this wasn't just a prediction, it was a reflection of how he has always assessed Canelo's standing. Tyson never bought into the idea that Alvarez was untouchable. Instead, he emphasized Crawford's adaptability, his ability to shift gears mid-fight, and his unrivaled control inside the ring. In Tyson's eyes, those traits gave Crawford the decisive edge, long before the opening bell confirmed it in real time. The outcome, he suggested, was less an upset and more the natural result of superior talent meeting inflated reputation.
50-50. I want to say Crawford. Why am I saying 50-50?
You don't think it's 50-50?
60-40, but you gonna tell him which one?
You think Crawford can stop him?
Crawford can stop anybody. I'm not saying he can't, he's going to, but he can't.
It isn't just Teddy Atlas raising doubts. Many voices in the boxing community have echoed concerns about how Canelo Alvarez has been framed as a superstar. Some point to the controversy of failed drug tests that once cast a shadow over his career. Despite the seriousness of those allegations, Alvarez largely emerged unscathed, his reputation remaining intact while other fighters might not have recovered so easily. But the deeper critique lies in the choices he made after his one-sided loss to Floyd Mayweather. From that point on, analysts argue, Alvarez became highly selective. He targeted opponents who were either aging, undersized, or stylistically suited to his strengths. On paper, the wins stacked up and the championship belts rolled in, but questions lingered. Was he truly pushing himself against the toughest rivals at their peak, or was he carefully curating a resume designed to look unbeatable? To critics, the strategy speaks for itself. Canelo preserved his star power and marketability, but sidestepped the crucible that forges all-time greats. In their eyes, the career was engineered, not fully earned.
Alright, this guy right here is overrated as fuck, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, early on in his career, when he was the young up-and-coming contender, undefeated at the time, we all remember that infamous match with Floyd Mayweather where he just got dog walk. Floyd Mayweather completely outboxed him, completely outclassed him. That fight ended up being a split decision, which is crazy because if you've seen the fight with your own two eyes, I don't think Canelo landed one clean punch on Mayweather the entire fight, and it wasn't even close. Also, early on in his career, he was accused and caught cheating performance enhancers. And you know what they say, once a dirty fighter, always a dirty fighter. Even though that's not factually the case, because he was able to move on with his career, bounce back from that loss, bounce back from the cheating accusations, and make like a great boxing legacy for himself. In the court of public opinion, normally with most fighters that are, caught cheating at any point in this career, it always sticks with them. But with Canelo, it seems like everybody forgets. Now, obviously, to this day, he's still looked at as one of the faces, if not the face of boxing. But I think the way people accuse Floyd, especially in the back half of his career, of picking and choosing his fights, protecting his own, protecting his legacy, Canelo definitely has followed the Floyd Mayweather model. Not only in his game, he became a more defensive fighter after fighting Mayweather, and especially as of late, he's not taking as much punishment, but it's also because he's not fighting very dangerous fighters, and when he does, he gets exposed. One of his also top more formidable opponents was Triple G, that trilogy. The first fight was a draw. The second two fights, Canelo won by unanimous decision and ununanimous decision for the third. But I don't think the results, reflected.
When Canelo Alvarez finally squared off with Terence Crawford, the criticisms that had followed him for years came into sharp focus. From the opening bell, Crawford's command was undeniable. Fighting as a southpaw, he showcased the adaptability that has made him so dangerous, immediately cutting off Canelo's usual offensive weapons. Alvarez, typically known for walking opponents down with patience and sharp counters, struggled to find timing, range, or rhythm. Instead of applying layered pressure, he fell back on isolated punches, often single shots without the combinations needed to break through. Even more surprising was his neglect of the jab, a basic tool that could have helped him keep Crawford honest. That absence allowed Crawford to set the tempo, slip in and out of danger, and dictate every exchange. Round after round, Canelo looked hesitant, reduced to following rather than leading. To analysts and fans alike, the bout was more than just a loss, it was a revelation. Crawford exposed limitations that had long been debated, confirming that the image of Alvarez as an untouchable force was more myth than reality.
I think there was a lot that we could learn from both of them. I think there's something that Terence Crawford did very well. He did not allow Canelo to get inside, man. Like as soon as Canelo would get into that certain range, he would jab him. He would jab him, and then occasionally he would go low. Canelo Alvarez could not pop his he couldn't get inside because pretty much Bud, he's a southpaw, and I feel like Terence Crawford, I feel like Canelo Alvarez had problems with southpaws, but not just that, dude. It was the range of what Terence Crawford had, dude. And not just that, man. Terence Crawford was actually countering Canelo Alvarez quite a bit. So as Canelo would throw, he would just sit there, wait, block, and then boom, an uppercut or a right hand. Another mistake that Canelo was making too is he was throwing like one shot, and then he was coming back squared, and that's when Terence Crawford would actually catch him. We didn't see any like lateral moves where he would throw and maybe push off to the side, as we used to see Canelo Alvarez as what he would do in these fights. Allegiant Stadium, there was a lot of people there. Terence Crawford had the ability to fight backwards and stay composed, good defense, hands was always up, countering everything that Canelo was throwing at him. He was just a little more active fight. I mean, looking at the fight, bro, like it was competitive. Canelo did hit him to the body, but it was pretty much all Terence Crawford, man. I don't know how many rounds I actually gave Canelo, but I want to see a rematch. I want to see a rematch because Canelo did mention, oh, I didn't feel good. Like my body was just, it wasn't reacting. My mind wanted to, but there was something physically with my body that it just felt different. So, but overall, I mean, boxing tends to put these big events, these fights don't show out like the UFC.